Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on in to another episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I am your host this morning, as every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, every weekday morning. Process your sky with a motivational Monday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. So basically today, I'm actually super pumped about today's episode because I wanted to get into some of the work of my favorite philosopher. I do love philosophy, and my favorite philosopher is Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher from the times of the Holocaust, actually, which is really interesting because his sister was a big part of the Third Reich with Hitler, and I'm Jewish, but this guy, I mean, he was on some different level thinking. He wasn't really a part of the war or anything like that. He was just coming up with these heaters of philosophical ideas. And I'm super excited to get into the work of Friedrich Nietzsche on this Motivational Monday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake with you guys. But before we get on into it, just a quick word to our sponsors while I roll up, just like I do every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. The first sponsor of the show this fabulous Monday morning is Oaksterdam University. Roll Gang, Oaksterdam is the first ever cannabis college in my alma mater. It's the closest thing I have to a college degree, you guys. But it literally is such a magical experience, and it's great to have on your resume. Like, if you're trying to claim your stake in the cannabis industry, then you want to say you have your education from Oaksterdam University, the predominant school in the industry for plant knowledge. And you guys can use promo code Rolling Spoon whenever checking out your tuition, and you will get 10% off. It's an enormous discount, couple $100 off of the best cannabis education that money can buy. And this show is also brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, the most efficient way to procure your cannabis. This all-in-one cannabis multi-tool help you seal the deal and roll a dime every time. I cannot afford to roll anything less in front of you guys, Roll Gang. Every single morning I show you guys my roll. You guys gotta give it to them. They're pretty much the same every single weekday morning, aren't they? But anyways, thank you everybody tapping in. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are all the shit, tapping into the Weekday Wake and Bake as we go live on all of those platforms every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time to sesh and talk about some content, mostly cannabis content. But Mondays, I kind of like to get motivated because a week in the life is hard. And every Monday, you kind of start a brand new grind of a brand new week. And I just find it a really refreshing time to reflect on some famous people's words to keep us grounded and motivated and make sure that we're moving forward throughout the week, and not staying complacent. So today, in our Motivational Monday segment, I wanted to focus in. First time I've ever actually done this. Focus in on one person for Motivational Monday. My favorite philosopher of all time, Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher, came up with some unbelievable ideologies back in the times of the Holocaust. And I'm super excited to share some quotes that I got from Nietzsche. Yes! Quality Vegas Bud using the spoon right now. I love to hear it. Yo, I hope everybody tapping in this morning is having a nice wake and bake. It's just stoner law to bake every time you wake. We got blessed with another day. We got to smoke one. We woke up. Let's go. All right, so Friedrich Nietzsche. The first quote I wanted to share with you guys from Friedrich Nietzsche is one of the most famous quotes of all time. And Mr. Nietzsche was the man who said it first. And he wrote it in one of his books. He has a ton of famous books. I listen to podcasts and stuff about Nietzsche's work. People breaking down his books. But David Katz says, using my spoon in Tuna Town too. Let's go. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Everybody's session. I hope everybody's session with their spoon. So this quote, one of the most famous of all time, Friedrich Nietzsche, first quote on this Motivational Monday. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. I mean, there was a song written about it. I'm pretty sure Kelly Clarkson. I'm not sure if anybody hasn't heard this quote, but I just wanted to take a second, not only to clap my hands for Friedrich Nietzsche for coming up with that one first of all time, but let's just think about that for a second, because it really is true. And I don't think we put enough emphasis on the daily actions that kind of just flow by. Days really do. They just flow. And we got to take a second and realize that even in adversity, take a second to feel what's stressing you out right now or what's anxious. Really give that thought some imagery. And then remember, it's not gonna kill you. And this adversity is what makes you. And that trial that you're thinking of right now could be a blessing. I really, there's some fucked up shit going on. You guys I'm sure you guys know, but whenever we face adversity, it gives us the opportunity to be resilient. And resiliency may just be the essence of life. Quality Vegas Bud always teaches me that cannabis plants are resilient, and the most resilient plants produce the best flowers. I mean, we are kind of the same way. We strive through our trials. And Friedrich Nietzsche, the first to ever quote, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Everything in our life that we experience is building on this masterpiece of a life that you are creating. And it's very hard to discern day to day. You look in the mirror tomorrow, you're going to see generally the same person that you see today. But in 5 years, all those tomorrows will have amassed to a great difference. Just take a moment, take a breather. Life is about the little things. Take a little step. It's not going to kill you. Just keep on focusing on the little details, the little steps on your journey, and you will gain strength every step of the way. So the next quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. "It's hard enough remembering my opinions, let alone my reasons." So Friedrich Nietzsche had all these amazing opinions, had all these massive, mindful, revelations. But at the end of it, this is a major tip of the cap to humanity itself. No matter how hard you can understand something or be passionate about it, we're human. And we can't remember everything. And just because you're passionate about something one day doesn't mean that down the line you'll be passionate about something else. And being passionate about something else kind of puts your prior passion in the back burner. And we tend to forget, we're humans. Let yourself evolve. Like, let yourself evolve. It's hard enough remembering your own opinions, let alone your reasons for them. Be adaptable. Change your opinions. Move forward and be open-minded. We're too human to stand on a hill that we don't remember why we're standing on it. So just make sure that we're, moving in the right direction. Don't be too hung up on anything, It's kind of tough. It's easier said than done. But Friedrich Nietzsche had all these unbelievable ideas, and he's admitting it's hard enough to remember his opinions, let alone the reasons for them. So, just kind of don't take it so seriously. Woo! I hope everybody's I'm getting pretty ripped already. I ground up a nice nug of this vanilla frosting. Shout out Zimina for finding the vanilla frosting in the first ever Rolling Spoon Stash and Dash over the weekend. That was a lot of fun. I hope that she is enjoying some of this herb too this morning. So the next quote from Nietzsche is one of my favorites from him, short and sweet. There are no facts, only interpretations. Quote, there are no facts, only interpretations. Like, guys, philosophy is one of those circular things that you just kind of don't want to dig too deep, because you'll realize that there aren't really any answers. So, you kind of have to create your own construct. And that's Nietzsche's whole thing, is building your own significance. Because if you dig too deep, you're not going to find much. So make sure you're not talking yourself into anything too firmly. You know what I mean? Because, you can, I don't even want to get into the depths of that, truly. There's not enough time, and I don't even have enough brain power, but nothing that we know do we actually truly know. And kind of taking it too seriously will lead yourself to negative emotions. Don't, kind of like the last quote, don't stand on a hill for something you no longer believe in. Don't be adaptable, but also remember the most important factor is to just be happy, to just enjoy the process. There really aren't any facts, and people are going to argue with you about some shit. You can choose to argue if that's what makes you happy, but just choose to be happy. Whatever choice you make, choose happiness. There aren't really any definitives here. This is life. This is there's nothing black and white about it. So, the most important thing you can do is find a unique way to interpret life for yourself. And go the fuck after it. Your pursuit of happiness. Your will to power. Which is one of the baselines of, we're going to get into the will to power really quick at the end of the show. The next quote on this Motivational Monday is another one about individuality, and, just real quick shout out to the Rolling Spoon. This is my individuality, the patented, it's my baby. So make sure that you guys, I appreciate everybody tapping in and saying they're using the spoon as part of their ritual. That makes my day. Quality Vegas Bud and David, my guys, thank you. I appreciate everybody tapping in. And the Wizard tapping in says you cannot move on until you move on. Yeah, that's it right there. You move on when you move on, and you latch when you latch. It's kind of, you create your significance in this life. I really appreciate that comment. You create what you want. If there is something in your life that isn't what you desire to be there, it's on you to change it. You create that significance, and you got to do what you got to do. So the next quote is, You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, the only way, it does not exist. So Nisha finds a way to, first off, you have your way, I have my way. He's starting off saying, we're different, we're individuals, but then he moves forward to drive home. He says, the right way, the correct way, the only way. He's throwing this in your face, the correct move. And then he says, does not exist. Your moves are the right moves, even if they don't feel like it, even if you feel like you're failing. Me too. And my moves are so different than yours. And that's the beauty of individuality. We're both right. You deem significance for yourself. And everybody, this is where we need to adapt to as a society, is people creating their own significance and having the freedom to pursue it. Having the freedom to actually pursue their will to power. And I just think this quote is awesome because he is one of the deepest thinkers ever, and he's giving you as much credit as he's giving him. He's giving you and me as much credit for our thoughts as he's taking for his own. You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, for the correct way, the only way, it does not exist. So create your significance. It's the only thing that exists. If you say it exists, it does. And that's the only thing. So make sure that we're creating some significance for ourselves, Roll Gang. Don't take anything too seriously. Don't dig too deep into anything. Do what makes you happy and pursue that shit. Get after that shit. And that's just one of the greatest teachings about Nisha. He claims that all humans, there's not a lot that all humans have in common. We all have a will to power. A will to power. Whether that's for some people going up to the top of a mountain and being alone and living off the land, or for some people it's dying, that's pretty dark and grim. For some people it's becoming president or a professional athlete, or just having some love, just building a family. We all have a significant will to power. And so basically his theory is, there is a theoretical version of yourself. Look in the mirror. There is a version of you in existence, somewhere in the realm of existence, if just in thought, lives your Übermensch, which is the version of you that every step of the way along birth took the exact right path, without fail, becoming exactly what you want to be. And that person is scary. To think about that person and to try to emulate that person, make the same decisions as the perfect you, the you that you strive to become, but none of us ever really do. Try to copy it and it'll hurt. It'll sting a little bit. That's the amazing part of it. Chasing your will to power makes you feel a little anxious and queasy. It's the fear of the Übermensch, the fear of the overman. So make sure you kind of attack that little subtle anxiety, that little tickle that you feel whenever you know you should be doing something, but you don't really want to do it. That is a sign that your Übermensch is close. And keep that person close. You want to copy them. You're trying to become them. They're perfect, and we can't be perfect, but we could get as close as we can to it. And just make sure you're listening to your Übermensch, because you create it. It's the brainchild of you. It's the perfect version of you, whatever that is. So make sure that you're having a conversation with your Übermensch. And I'm going to go have a conversation with mine. I'm going to smoke the rest of this joint with my Übermensch, actually. I'm going to go chop it up with him, and Maybe I'll give him a rip or two, but whatever the fuck he wants to do. I have one last quote here on the Weekday Wake and Bake from the GOAT, Friedrich Nietzsche. Really enjoyed taking a really philosophical deep dive today on the show with you guys, Roll Gang. So here's the last quote. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. And the sentiment there is kind of in and of itself. Find your why. That's your will to power. We've been talking about this whole episode. Find your why. Find it. It's your superpower. And, maybe I'll share my why with you guys soon. It's really, really deep and philosophical too. But yeah, I'm going to go share this joint with my Ubermensch. But it is always amazing to sesh with you guys, Roll Gang. Every single weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. This Motivational Monday episode with Friedrich Nietzsche, the late, great Friedrich Nietzsche. It's been an absolute pleasure, Roll Gang. You know where to find me. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow morning will be a Turpy Tuesday before I head cross country for my next trip in the summer tour of summer vacations. I'm going back to my hometown for the first time in 4 years, Altoona, Pennsylvania. I am going to be there for 3 days. If anybody's watching that wants to hang out, I gotta hit up my guy David Katz. Gotta try to have a sesh, Roll Gang. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. It has been another amazing episode with you guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific